On this episode of On the Bridge, I'm chatting with Nicola and Liam from Wilsonhalligan. I was really keen to talk to them about their transition from working on board to becoming business owners. What became apparent really early on in our conversation was their amazing working relationship. They'd both found their roles within the company naturally that suited their skill sets. But what was really interesting was how much they support each other through the highs and lows of business. I hope you enjoy the episode as much as I did. Welcome. Lovely to see you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Be here, yeah.
Thank you for coming in for a chat. So, unless you've been living under a rock in the super yacht industry, everybody knows Wilsonhalligan. Recruitment, amazing company with a brilliant reputation. But I want to start back how you guys ended up where you are today, because you were both working on boats and obviously came ashore and became business owners together as a business partnership, but not an actual partnership.
Yeah, that still gets confused sometimes.
Business
So we
partnership,
always
yeah.
make the distinction.
Yeah, okay.
Not together, business partners.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued about the dynamic. I'm married to my business partner. I know the sort of...
I feel like I am sometimes.
Yeah.
I suppose you sort of are really...
Work-wife title.
Yeah. I actually always say to people, when you're picking about who to go into business with, I think a business relationship is almost as important as a personal relationship.
Well, you spend so much time together.
Yeah, but also legally you're bound on so many
And also,
things.
you don't have our mortgages. We've got our team's mortgages to worry about and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a big decision to go into business with somebody.
So how did it come about then? What was the sort of
every great story, it started with a bottle of wine.
I love that.
And some Wolfreet in the south of France.
So I was working for Wilsonhalligan from 2010 after being at sea. Nicola came in after a recommendation in 2011
Yeah, it's about that.
and just left the yacht to join Wilsonhalligan, as it was just starting to grow under the Wilsonhalligan banner. I'd become recruitment manager at the time, so I was kind of running day-to-day operations and recruiting for engineers. Nicola came into the business, and then just like that, she went back to sea,
Classic.
as everybody
Wasn't
leaves twice.
Wasn't quite ready
Yeah.
yet, that classic story.
And that was 2012. We just stayed in touch. I had a baby 2013, so I was definitely going to stay ashore. Talking to you, I got offered a good job at the same time. And then 2014, Wilsonhalligan said, we're retiring next year. We're for sale. And then they involved me quite heavily in who they were selling to.
Right.
And one afternoon, Terry Wilson just said, make me an offer. So I was kind of talking with Nicola in the background, and happened to be in France. We met up when Nicola was leaving a yacht. We had a bottle of wine or two.
Thought it would be the best idea.
Yeah, what a great start to a conversation about the future of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
And just decided that we would make a bid for Wilsonhalligan, and we were bidding against some really big names.
Sure.
And Wilsonhalligan was so great in wanting to keep the business and the culture the exact same, they let us do it.
So they really wanted you to buy the business.
I think they
That's
did.
nice.
Yeah, which is lovely. We always said to them that we didn't want to change what they had started, but we just saw so much potential. And I think they worried with it maybe going to like bigger companies that it would completely change what they'd built. And actually we didn't want to do that. We just saw the potential of what they'd started and where it could get to. And it was just good timing, really. I say I was firmly then ready. Had finished quite a difficult time on board, and I knew I was definitely ready to come ashore like properly.
But that's great that almost you had that sort of go back to the boats and then come back, because then you really knew you were
I did. And I know
it.
a lot of people do it. And I do get it. I do understand. You come home, you're not, you don't really know what to expect. Like everything's a bit harder than you think it's going to be.
More
You
expensive.
suddenly have to pay tax and pay for your petrol and even your toiletries and everything.
Yeah.
So I do completely get it. And you're right. When I went back, I then had a focus. I knew what, and it's so strange because when I was on board, that second time I'd gone back, I remember saying to my now husband, I said, what I really want to do is something like have a company like Wilsonhalligan, but I don't know, like, that would just be my dream to. Yeah, it's so weird. I vividly remember, talking about it and not quite knowing how I'd be able to do it. And then, like Liam said, we were in touch. I guess the stars aligned, and
yeah, they definitely did.
We had so many conversations when we worked together about the potential.
Yeah.
And this was 2011-12. Social media was just starting. We were begging Wilsonhalligan to come into like Facebook. Do we want a Facebook page? Could we do this? Could we do that? And they didn't know it.
Yeah.
So they were quite
scared. Generation.
They were quite scared of it. So when we got the ability in 2015 to take over, we then said, right, let's step it up. And Nicola's very good accounts wise and HR wise. And they were the elements I knew that I didn't like. I could do the businessy stuff, recruit people, but the overall trying to do the whole businessy stuff, I knew there was a weak spot. So it was going to be the perfect work marriage.
Yeah. And it's lovely. I mean, it's, we've still got a relationship with the previous owners. They set it up. It kind of grew more than I think they were expecting it to, just by word of mouth. They always knew that they were, sort of setting up for retirement. So they didn't want to, massively grow it like we did. But yeah, it's lovely. We're still in touch with them and still catch up with them from time to time. And it's nice for them to see how it's grown. And it's
so
really
they
good.
knew they were leaving it in very capable, trustworthy hands because they knew you both already.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's it. They knew how we worked. We both got on really well with them, and it was nice for them to see it, I think, go to us. And
I bet they're over the moon now that you guys
they are,
I think so.
They see it pop up in magazines and things, and they know the social media. We won awards, and their son's still in the industry, so they're well connected still.
It's such an interesting concept, isn't it, how businesses will run before social media, because like you say, there is a generational shift, but also the guys who had it before had obviously built up this great reputation. They built up a business on really that personal sort of connection, and then if you hadn't evolved during that time, the business probably wouldn't be going now.
You'd been left behind. Yeah, you had to. And I think, again, that's, no disrespect to them at all, but it just wasn't what they knew. Social media for all of us was changing things drastically, but we were very much on board with it. We were using it in our personal lives anyway. So it wasn't a big, scary thing. And I remember at the time, that's it. It's going to be the death of recruiters because everyone's going to do it via Facebook. And yes, lots of recruitment does happen via Facebook, but we could quite clearly see there's still going to be a need.
It was going to be a fantastic tool to reach more people.
We can use this to our advantage, and yes, boats might use it directly, and sometimes we will get cut out, but there's still plenty of business. The boats are getting bigger. Boats that size don't have time to sift through Facebook and do all their applications. So
but also what you guys do, the personal connection actually runs alongside, so you can be more connected with
a bigger
more
personal
people.
connection.
Exactly.
That's it.
But then also the personal service that you offer actually is really what makes sure that the candidate is 100% right.
That's
because
it.
let's face it, when you're on Facebook or Instagram, everyone's portraying an image of what they want people to see of them, and that not always is the case. So actually, without you guys then doing the personal side of it,
we can get our personalities out on LinkedIn as well. So although you go to a networking event, you see 50 people, you post something about what we're up to as a business or what we're up to as a person on LinkedIn, and you get 10,000 views. So it's much more global. So when we took over the business 2015, we had maybe 8,000 in the database. We're now at like 50, 60,000.
Wow.
So we've reached bigger worlds. We get more clients that way. We're still heavily relying on one of our core values is personable. And that still was set up by Terry Wilson. And it's still one of our core things now.
I think I hear that in the industry about you guys, and you guys have personally good reputations of being nice people, and actually that goes such a long way.
It's hard to get,
surprisingly, but okay. So what were some of the biggest challenges in the early days when you were building the business after purchasing?
I think probably like any new business owners, you kind of don't realise everything that goes in behind, like Liam said, we both knew we could recruit and we knew that side of it. But, there's so many different elements, as of running the business behind the scenes. And we realised actually we weren't, experts in a lot of different areas. So it was a combination of thinking, right, we need to upskill ourselves in certain areas. We've both now since done studied business, and
chartered managers.
So, and I think, but then also realizing where you need to outsource, you need to bring in those skills as well. And I think that was probably, but the biggest challenge in the year is just learning on as you go. Every day was a new day and a new challenge. There's no handbook, exactly. And like lots of, again, as with lots of grey areas with like employees and situations that you never thought that would come up. How do we deal with this? And it's nice that there's two of us, because we always just talked about those things, and we'd always have each other to sort of bounce ideas off. But there's
bouncing ideas and checks as well.
So
it's what about this? How do we do that? And then we also have employed business coaches over the years. To give us a bit of a push, and also someone to justify ourselves to. And it's made a big difference. You can go, what's next? And they've pushed us to take the next steps. So when we were hovering around about 5-6 people for a long time, I think we then jumped to 8-9 quite quickly. And that was all based on a business coach saying, you've got the cash, do it.
Now's
then,
the time.
Yeah, because we like to sit on the cash.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Well, and it came in handy when COVID happened. Actually.
Well, that's true.
Exactly.
That's
I mean,
true.
yeah, every day's a school day, right? So
Yes.
you go through these peaks and troughs. We always say, we're going through a growing pain period where we need more staff, but the money could be used elsewhere. And sometimes you've got to bite the bullet, and sometimes the decision's not right. But actually, as long as your structure is stable, then you're okay. But going back to what you're saying, it's so interesting that you guys both had the self-awareness to be like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
We don't really know what's happening here. So what are we going to do? We're going to upskill, but also we're going to reach out to other people and say, right, we don't know.
Yeah.
So
I think there's some things that you can upskill and it's good for you to upskill in. And, there's areas of the business we both, I think you need to be aware of and you need to learn more about. But there's other areas where it doesn't make sense you can't be an expert in all areas, and then you do have to recognize where. And I think it was also for us to was realizing, like Liam said earlier, where our individual strengths were. Actually, I don't think we ever really had a set conversation about it, but it just kind of naturally fell that Liam was more in the recruitment and the client side, and I fell more into the operational, on the HR and the finance side.
And one day our business coach was in. He was like, "Liam, why are you doing invoices?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I've always done it for the last 2 years. He went, "Stop doing that. Go out and find more clients." And Nicola was like, "Nicola does it better."
Yeah.
So it was a simple mix, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But that's great that someone from the outside could see that and then advise you. Because, I mean, as business owners of small businesses, as we all are, you do, for a period, wear hats of every different department.
Everything.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, when you're at a point, you're like, okay, we can afford to take someone on to do that job, but you've got to find the right person, and then you've got to hand over that responsibility. There is that, like,
like the marketing, I guess. That was a big thing. We did a lot of that, pretty much between us, and then having someone now that focuses on that in-house is just
it's hours back. It's all about your time management.
Once you find the right person, they're really killing it. You never look and think, oh god, I really miss doing that. But that period of that handover where you feel like, am I ready to hand over that responsibility? Can we afford it?
True.
There's a period of time, but
and we get it all the time now because we try and push our team to be as close to the clients as we can. So when they're dealing with even slight issues, I'm like, okay, what do? Do you want to send the emails? And you're kind of holding your breath, thinking they've sent the email. Yeah. Is it going to come back on you? Should you have dealt with it? But you just have to give the trust.
Yeah. And it's having a mix, isn't it? Because again, you can't possibly be in touch. You can't be that point of contact for every single, inquiry or issue that comes in. And it's
not if you want to grow.
Well, that's it. Exactly.
Otherwise, you literally will
kills your time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And it's nice to give the consultants and other people responsibility, and those they have to be the one to develop those relationships. So if you want to grow, those can't all be with us. It has to be, they have to be able to grow into those roles as well.
If you take on good people and you train them under you guys, and you have the trust, then they're going to represent the company how you want. So it's all lots of learning curves. I still say now every day.
It still is.
It's the employment of people is our kind of biggest hang up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we generally know within 10-20 minutes of an interview we like somebody.
Yeah.
But then it's like the process of taking somebody on and finding them. We're almost always recruiting.
Yeah.
That next one.
Nowadays, us too. Because if someone good sort of pops into my inbox, I just think, oh,
you don't want to let them go.
No, I think
so
it's always
valuable.
worth having a conversation.
Same.
And I think no matter how many people you employ in your life, every business podcast I listen to, every book I read, the people thing is really
makes it.
It's making money is relatively easy. You find a service or product that there's a demand for, you do it really well or differently, and then you make money on it. But finding good people who have the right ethos and like the culture and want to be part of your team,
that's so important.
It's really challenging.
It is.
And interviewing, well, you guys obviously interview thousands of people. People tell you.
Sometimes we still get it wrong when we do it. It is always hard. You don't know until they're fully embedded into the company. And I mean, touch wood, where there's wood, we've got such a really, really strong team at the moment, which is amazing. And it just makes all the difference, doesn't it? They come into work every day. And
back as a clip. We have a really strong team at the moment. Really strong team.
But also what's interesting is then if you get someone in who's not right for your team, don't you find that shows so fast then? Because
it does.
The rest of the team are like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then actually
It
you
sort of
don't
knocks at
even
your
need
door.
to see
Yeah.
it because the other people
So true.
show it for you.
Yeah,
So
so true.
I could talk all day
About
about
both
that.
boys.
Yeah, definitely. I find it so interesting, the human psychology of people, that you can spend 40 minutes interviewing someone and think, yes, and then they come in for, a trial or come on probation. You're like, oh, not quite what I thought. So,
Yeah.
And as Nicola said, we've got it wrong a few times, but we do it for a living, putting people on a tiny little boat in a tiny little environment.
Yeah.
That 1 in 12 crew member might be an absolute psycho by the time they've come on for a week.
Yeah.
We get it right or wrong.
No. Okay, was there a pivotal moment or turning point when you felt the business had gained traction? And has your original vision for the business when you purchased it changed?
I wouldn't say the original vision has changed. We always wanted to do, like we said earlier, just, keep the ethos and the, personal side of it. We've wanted to keep that. And as we've grown, we've had to bring people in to help us be able to keep our core values as we've gotten bigger. But I think we've always wanted to, and we also wanted to get into other areas. From day dot, we always said there's so much opportunity out there to go into, not just onboard crewing, but servicing companies within the maritime world, which we do now, households, which are the same clients essentially.
It's been natural growth led by the clients. Can you find yacht manager? Can you find me a manager? Yep. Oh, the boat saying, can you find us a house manager? So it's been led by them.
Shows they trust you and you do a good job. And so it's
well, most of that is recommendations. It's captains that have already known how we work, and we've got a good relationship with them, and then they recommend us to their owner because they know that they're looking for staff ashore, and sort of has naturally grown, which has been really good. So I think that side of it, I wouldn't say the vision has massively changed.
Still very much the same, to be the most personable and the best, which takes a lot of training and trust.
But pivotal moment, I don't know,
I would say probably the times you see yourself being asked to write for an article, not paying for it. That's the key thing. Everyone writes articles, but they pay to do it. When we get asked for our expert opinion, and I still find that word quite weird. And I wrote about it on
There's a lot of industry experts that actually there's probably not many. So right, but actually someone really respecting and trusting your opinion. It means that you've done a good job.
When owners have recommended you directly to other owners, it's great when we're dealing with 30, 40 meter boats. We deal direct with the owner. You build a great relationship. Then they go, oh, my friend needs this. That's great. We've had some really high-end owners contact us directly.
And it's pretty cool, I think, when you look at, you're flicking through yacht magazines, or even with your friends and family, and, you see a boat pop up, oh yeah, we've put crew on there. Really? Wow, that's cool. Like, I guess it is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, because the people who own the boats, I mean, they're the most private people in the world. So that's a big compliment if they're trusting you enough into their inner circle to then start placing staff in their houses and recommending you to friends.
Well, we've stayed humble with it as well. When you get through, it's be a bit of a brag now, top 25 yachts, top 25 biggest yachts, we know we've put captains, chief engineers, HODs on well over half of those. And it's quite an accolade, but to be in that position, that's the pivotal points when you're being recommended to do something rather than pitching for the business.
Definitely.
That's trying to find an actual physical moment is quite difficult.
I think it's
well, I think you've just named about 3 or 4 that are pivotal when you can sit back and say, actually, our business is growing because we're doing a good job and we're not having to spend thousands of pounds every month on advertising. That is a pivotal moment. That's a business right there, because actually most new companies have to spend a lot of money on upping their brand awareness. And when you get, I think also this industry is so unique because it's so closed.
It is.
So you have to do a good job. I say it all the time outside of yachting. I think if I get bad customer service, I'll say to Dave, we wouldn't have a client if we did that. You get one chance. And if you mess it up, they don't use you again. So
Terry Wilson always said, reputation takes years to make, seconds to lose.
And in this industry,
it really
that is it.
We've
have
always
as
had
many
that in mind.
fancy marketing gimmicks and lovely videos and everything, but if you lose the trust,
well, it's also such a small industry, isn't it? Compared to other bigger industries and things and more mainstream industries. Again, you do a bad job for one person, they know 5 other people. That it
and
spreads,
they don't mind talking about
and they don't.
it.
No, you'll get more bad reviews than you will good reviews.
But we're very lucky that I think on the flip side we do get recommended. It's nice. And it's nice, I think it was nice to hear sometimes is when we've had people in the office, they've come in, or we've got crew members or whatever, they come in, so your Wilsonhalligan is chatted about in the crew mess, and I always think, oh wow, that's so
Nice.
strange. Like to think that there's, so I think like things like that are always nice to hear
I
as
love
well.
that you still get a good feeling from
Yeah,
that.
so
'cause
nice.
I feel the same. If we ever get a recommendation through like a WhatsApp group or something, I always want to share it with all the team and be like, hey guys, look at all the nice things that they were saying. I mean, obviously it's lovely to get good feedback in any way.
We still really enjoy
not
trying to
when
get somebody
you're
their first job.
That's it.
We still really enjoy trying to get somebody their first ever job.
Oh yeah.
When you recommended somebody's son or somebody's daughter or somebody's friend,
Yeah.
you put a bit of effort into to give them time, and you hear them get a job.
Yeah.
That goes for years in the industry.
Yeah. Oh, it really does. I think and even now, after all these years, like Liam said, actually getting helping people get their first job. In fact, we were talking in the car on the way here that a bit of a family friend, but we helped her get her first job about 12 years ago, and she's been on the same boat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ever since.
That's amazing.
It's just changed her whole life. She's now, married to someone on board, and it really, and you see those stories, you think, wow, that's crazy.
Actually, when you think about it, you could make or break someone's career in the yachting industry as a first job by not getting them on a suitable boat. They might dislike it as the industry. So actually that first job is so important.
But we're quite honest, yachting's not for everybody.
No, it isn't.
So we tell people that, and sometimes they go in, spend the 6 months and go, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
And I think the ones that come to us and say we're open to green crew, they tend to be the more nurturing. They're boats that we know really well. They tend to be a bit bigger because they've got time or space available to be able to bring in green crew.
Yeah.
So those ones, I think where we put green crew, they're boats that we really know well.
Yeah.
And they're ones that
not where they're going to get eaten alive.
No,
or some boat they're not going to get paid and stuck in Greece or something.
That's it.
Oh, I love that.
We had a great one with that young girl that drove all the way from Exeter to see you.
So nice. Yeah, that was actually earlier this year, and I was actually just covering for Robbie, who was on leave, and out of the blue, this green stew called up, and she'd driven up from Exeter, and she was lovely in person. She was so nice, and she'd made such an effort. In fact, I think she got the train. It took her like all day to get here and back. She'd taken a day off work, and instantly I just thought you were really have stood out to make such an effort. And I was saying to her, you just never know, we'll do our best. You just never know when a position for greens, we don't get them all the time. The very next day, one of our really, really good clients, they came to us looking for like very basic crew mess stewardess.
Yeah.
I said, I've actually got someone, and I explained the situation, and they took her the next day.
Yeah.
And it's and she'd already had her flights booked to go down to Antibes, and things like that. Yeah, things like that. Just so nice to be able to actually really feel like you're helping someone.
It's kind of crew member you want on board that will go that extra.
Definitely.
And extra again.
Yeah, from the start. I think, like you say, it's not for everyone. So you either have that mentality or you don't. And I think if you don't, then it's not.
Yeah, it's not the right.
The idea of going to sea and living on a boat is quite crazy.
Yeah.
Especially when you see how small the accommodation is, and
the stress that the people are under, the hours that they're working and everything.
And that's where Nicola's been a huge advocate the last 10 years of mental health on board.
Yeah. Well, it's a key topic.
Well, and also, like you say, just making sure the placement is right.
Yeah.
Because you can easily get it wrong.
Yeah.
And then that person's experience is so bad. They leave the industry or
that's it.
Become unwell with stress.
We can easily missell and make more placements.
Yeah.
But the reputation will be dead in a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
It's not worth it for, as you say, what's the point for anyone if you put somewhere that's not going to be right for them? It's no good for them. It's no good for the boat. It's no good for us. So
yeah, it reflects badly on you. But okay, I mean, now you guys are in a position where you really can make sure that doesn't happen. When you're building a business, there's a temptation to sort of,
take the fast buck.
Should we do it because
it
would be
they
good
just need to make money
for cash flow? But so that's difficult. And having the integrity from the start and building that way is difficult. But okay, so how do you guys feel the recruitment landscape has changed since you started? I mean, it's such a big question because probably you're like, where do you want me to start?
Yeah, that is it.
So 2010 when I started, I think there was 6 companies.
Yeah.
There's now 120 plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lots of one-man bands. The landscape has exploded.
Yeah.
But half of those will be one person, 2 persons.
Yeah.
They might not get brokers phone them up and say, I need a captain for this. They won't get owner's reps phone them. So it's changed, but we've got a 10-year head start, 15-year head start.
Yeah. And I think the core principles behind it, again, we haven't changed, and people still do rely on those principles and like those principles. And, regardless of everything else going on around with AI, which we're, fully on board with, again, with social media, that's sort of exploded in the time that we've been doing it. I think regardless of all that, I think you'll always need that human element and that human contact. And that's where I think we just don't want to drop the ball. So I think it has changed in some ways, but then we still have to go back to our original roots and keep that still there.
Stay true to what made you successful over the last 10, 15 years.
That's
definitely.
it. Yeah.
Where the generational age gaps changed, my generation, you took a job and you stayed there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, people born probably 2010 onwards, 2000 onwards,
2000.
are thinking, I'll do this job for 3 or 4 months
Yeah.
and I'll move on to the next one. There's a lot more transitions than there ever been.
Yeah.
10 years ago, 5 years ago, people didn't leave mid-season.
No.
Now they just go.
Yeah.
But an 18, 19, 20-year-old has got so many options for jobs.
They have. Well, you never used to get, I remember even when I was looking for work, and I wouldn't get things pop up on my phone. I didn't have there was no yacht spot or anything like that. It was like, if I wanted to find another job, I'd have to leave a job. And then, said, okay, I'm not that quite.
I was going to make the joke, but I didn't. I know my place.
But yeah, it was very different. Whereas now, people are getting temptations on their phone pop up all the time. But I always go back, because there's a lot of talk about crew turnover being so big in the industry, and how can we reduce it? But I actually always think it's not just in our industry. It's just generational thing. Our parents' generation had one job.
Yeah,
it's not like that anymore.
In that job because they were fearful to lose it, because they had a mortgage and children to pay for. Yeah.
18, 19, 20-year-old crew member doesn't have fixed assets, so they can do what they need to,
and they will get another job, because it's
we went to an awards thing at Warsash a couple of years ago, and they were talking about generations, and they were saying that the generation that's coming through now will have 5 careers, not 5 jobs,
5 careers.
5 careers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whereas our parents had 1, our generation maybe has 2, and they're going to have 5.
Wow, that's
because
pretty incredible.
From 16 they can be a YouTuber or influencer, and then so actually you're right that the turnover is everywhere. It's not just yachting.
It's not just yachting.
Actually, I think now when I employ someone, if they stay with us 3 years, I think that's good.
That's a great time.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that actually for someone to come, there's so much temptation, and there's so much flexibility in the world now. People they expect more from their employer, and if I can't give that to someone, then 3 years, I think that's good.
Yeah, agree. And I think there is just an expectation that crew should be staying on. Okay, my family friend that has been on has an anomaly for 12 years, but I think there is an expectation, and there's, like I said,
it's the old hierarchy. Captains just thinking, well, I've stayed in my job for 5 years.
Yeah.
Every deckhand should stay in their job 5 years.
Yeah.
But the sooner they embrace it, and it's not going to happen, they can probably be a bit more forward thinking. Go, right, I know someone's going to be leaving in 4 months.
Yeah.
Do I replace them now?
Yeah. Or start talking to us earlier, because what happens in recruitment a lot is we get the
last minute.
Yeah, need someone tomorrow. Whereas actually, Liam's right. If they're having open conversations with, they might not know every time that crew member's going to leave, but I think just being able to have that foresight of thinking, actually, I'm pretty sure this is the way this is going to go, and then they can start talking to us earlier, and then we can get a better match in. But it is just different, and I think that has definitely changed in the last 10 years. It's like people do move around a little bit more.
We found it also. We've got staff that have been with us over 20 years, and in the last 10 years we've definitely seen a different sort of level of
shift.
We had a big change after COVID, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We had 3, 4 really senior people, all your 5 years plus.
Yeah.
Just said, recruitment's not for me anymore. All into completely different industries.
Yeah.
So it just happens.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I think, like you say, also I guess the boats, the people running the boats have to adapt also, that what worked 15 years ago doesn't work anymore. And as frustrating as change can be, it's happening whether we like it or not. So, nowadays people like to work from home, or they like flexible working time. When I started working, if I had said, can I work from home? They'd be like, this isn't the place for you. So, I guess, and we see a lot of vessels now, they take people on, and rather than they offer a good salary or good working conditions, but now they're like, right, we want to reinvest back in the crew because they're likely to stay longer, so they're offering different training and I know that's a cost, but actually that keeps people, so it's just different.
It is. And we hear a lot of crew are so entitled because they will want rotation, and it is, but again, that landscape has changed so much, and rotation is more common. I think it's great for crew to be able to have more of it, and it will encourage people to stay a bit longer. And yes, we do have to manage expectations of green crew coming in, not expecting to go straight in on a rotation, but there are boats out there that are that are offering that as well.
Yeah.
We've got green crew that we'll place on a 3-in-1.
But how great if you can educate them from the very first job. Say, look, you're not
I'm
going
gonna
to
try
get
and do it.
rotation as a
That's
decky for
Yeah.
the first 2 years, but you
Yeah.
go in, you work, you're absolute,
Yeah, and
you
it's
know,
something to aspire to.
yeah, and then in 2 years, if you've really proven yourself, you will have the pick of
That's
the
it.
best, you know,
Easily.
bosun jobs, and then you will have rotation. But you've got to manage that expectation, and
Yeah.
maybe that's where recruitment, where they're not using someone like you and they're just
Yeah.
doing it themselves online, perhaps they're missing that. We've worked on board. We'll tell you how it's
Yes.
good.
Yeah, they're missing that professional input in their career.
Yeah.
Even captains do it now. You know, they'll go to the wrong job just because it's available, and then 6 months down the line, they're like, "This is terrible. I've got to leave." And you're like, "You've now dented your 25-year career history."
Yeah.
But you know, we're always there available.
Yeah.
And even if we can't place somebody, we still want to talk to them.
Yeah. Well, you never know in the future.
You never
when they-
know.
Never know.
Yeah.
Never know. That's been
definitely.
the lovely thing, watching the green crew that are now captains and chief stews and like heads of HODs and stuff. That's been really nice.
There's some of the guys I was cadets with are now captains, which is oddly scary. to be fair.
You're like, should you really
Yeah.
made it this far?
Yeah, I know their backgrounds quite well, but here they are driving
well.
boats. Yeah.
All because maybe they were placed on good boats that helped them progress. So that's amazing. Thanks for watching this episode so far. We have some great guests coming up, and we wouldn't want you to miss any of those future episodes. So please don't forget to click the subscribe button and enjoy the rest of this episode. Okay, so obviously we've just touched on working on Superyacht has some unique challenges with the mental health, basically floating around the sea in a big tin can
Yep.
away from home. What are the fundamental qualities you would look for when people come to you wanting to work in the Superyacht industry?
Always for me, it's flexibility. It's got to understand that, oh, the guest is coming. No, he's not. We're going to the Caribbean. No, we're not. Those kind of like,
Able to adapt to
yeah,
situations.
the big changes, knowing that, oh, I'm joining a charter boat. Oh, there's no charters booked. So they base their whole career on getting their charter. No charters. So it's just that. And then getting on and making the most of what they're getting.
Yeah.
Can they do a good job there? Can they land there? Even if they're not getting the Caribbean season, if they're not getting the Mediterranean, what can they do?
So
can
having
they
quite an
adapt?
optimistic outlook on sort of whatever is dealt to them, that rather than, oh, this is
Just
rubbish.
leave.
Yeah.
Just saying, okay, I'm going to make the best of it. Yeah. I think in life though,
Generally, yeah.
yeah, I feel that actually, you know, in life, those people are better people to take on whatever
Yeah,
job
whatever
you're
role.
recruiting
Yeah.
for, because
Yeah.
that is life, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
true.
You know,
Yeah.
we also are
Nothing's
affected
easily
by
mapped out.
the last minute,
Map joke.
doing passage plans for weeks, applying all the product. All the bosses decided to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's the boss's prerogative, and he
Yeah.
pays our wages.
Exactly.
So
Can't really
let's just,
Yeah.
you know,
go with
Put
it.
up with it.
go
Yep.
with it. Yeah.
I think given the industry that we're in as well, like that being able to go the extra mile. So a bit like the girl that we were talking about earlier that made that effort to come all the way up just to see us for half an hour, an hour. That's why that stood out to me, because I was like, wow, this person is really willing to go that extra mile. And I think in the industry that you always are trying to do that.
Yeah.
You're always trying to exceed expectations.
Definitely. And you either get that and
Yeah.
you understand that, or
Yeah.
you don't.
Or you don't. Yeah.
They're the kind of ones that's going to unload the crew mess dishwasher.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have to, but they
Yeah.
do it anyway.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, Dave and I recently have been doing a couple of the yacht shows, and we've been spending time on board with some of our clients doing some training and everything. And having a little insight into boats that are in the show has been so enlightening for us, because that whole going the extra mile,
Yeah.
I obviously know it because I'm working with the crew when they're arranging the navigation part of it, but seeing it on board was
Yeah.
mind
Another level, isn't it?
blowing.
Yes, yeah.
And the fact that you can't, it's like putting a round peg in a square hole. Like,
Yeah.
you can't teach someone that mentality of looking how to make things
So true.
perfect.
Yeah.
You can get someone you can train to do their job really well, but
Yeah.
they're sort of these people who are doing a good
They're
job.
always one step ahead.
Exactly.
Always one step ahead.
Yeah.
They're always
7-star one
Yes.
step ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that attention
Yeah.
to detail.
Yeah,
It's something
it
like
is.
they'll see the fingerprint or the bit
Yeah.
of speck of dust that you don't see.
And it
That's
bothers them
Yep.
that they want to make it perfect.
Yes.
So you
Yep.
can get someone you could train to clean really well.
Yeah.
But they don't see.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And
No,
this is where it's
interesting.
adapting to the houses. So yacht owners will get somebody that works in their village to come and clean their house. They get a yacht, it's a different level of clean.
Yeah.
So they say, have you got any yacht crew coming ashore?
Yeah. I think that's why that's become
so true.
it's become a really, I think that's why it's naturally and you get a lot now. We have a lot of requests from people that are not really within yacht recruitment, but they approach us because they know their owners, they want the same level of service that they get on the yacht. They want that in the house. So
Yeah, for
I
their
think that's-
private homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
You think of the sort of unwritten skills that a chief stew's got coming into a house.
Mm.
So event management,
Yeah.
accounts, people management, even just the finer details,
Yeah.
proper care.
Yes,
I was surprised. I was talking to someone a couple of years ago who does a lot with ex-chief stews and stewardesses, and she was saying, the challenges of them finding a job. And I was thinking,
yeah.
are you joking?
Yeah.
How many skills do they have?
The thing is, I think sometimes they don't recognise, and I know because
Probably.
I found it was difficult when I was looking to move ashore. Like what is it directly related to, and you do have to take a step back and you look at it, you think actually there's so many different aspects to being a chief stew, but sometimes it's such a unique, because of that, the uniqueness of the industry, and because of the lack of understanding from people outside, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to convey those skills, I think, across to other people. But there's so many things that are transferable.
They just organize everything. And the standards are beyond, like you say, what you would get normally. And it's quite funny, we had a friend come to stay with us recently. He's a captain married to an ex-stew, and when he left, he made the bed, and I took a picture and said, your wife would be so proud. The bed was like tight and
proper standards.
Dave,
on it.
This is how you should be making the bed every day. He was well trained. So. Okay, so on the other side then, when you're working with a super yacht owner or client, how do you build those relationships so you can understand truly what they're looking for?
I think a lot of it comes with time. So a lot of those relationships, it is hard when they don't know us at all and we don't know them, and like trying to build those relationships from scratch is quite tricky, and that's why some of the best relationships now are people that we've been working with for all their ones that have been recommended, like we said earlier, captains recommended to an owner's rep or to an owner directly, and you've already got that common ground and they know that you've been recommended, so there's already that element of trust. When it's from scratch, it's just, and we always say this to the consultants, you need to put the legwork in to build this relationship. You need those touch points.
It's asking the right questions, detailed questions. What are they trying to achieve on board? Is it going to be a family environment? Do they want to see the crew? Do they not want to see the crew? It's making sure that we're really understanding how they're going to use the boat. Sometimes owners will want the crew to be smiley as they walk through the door. Sometimes don't want to see the crew. And it's just making sure we've done the legwork, like Nicola said. How are you going to use it? Who are you going to have on board? Is there kids? All those kind of questions that you might not think important, because a stewardess is a stewardess. But it's finding the right stewardess for that environment.
Because again, it's a small environment. Even a giant boat, you're still living on a floating, boat in the middle of the sea where you can't get off. So like you say. So really then it's just you guys really trying to understand.
It's we've got to make all the effort, I think, and this is what, again, we try and explain to the team, is it also might be a relationship that Liam's had for a long time, but that's not to say if suddenly they're the one dealing with the captain or the chief officer, then they're new to that person. So our employee has to put in the effort, pick up the phone. I think there's such a trend now, just hide behind email.
It's my bugbear.
Or WhatsApp.
WhatsApps,
I tried to get hold of this person. Have you phoned them? Oh no, I haven't. Okay, let's go back to the 1990s and just pick up the phone.
We have a little bit of that in our office, but there's certain times the captain or HOD might not answer to them.
Sure.
I'll phone them and they might answer. And but it's one of those things. I've got a 15-year relationship. They've got a year relationship. He's like, oh, Liam, what do you want? I want you to answer the phone to my team.
I also think sometimes, actually, there is, we deal with it's knowing how our clients like to be communicated.
Oh, definitely.
And it is tricky because some actually don't want to get on the phone. Like we do have some that actually, and again, given, we're the unique challenges of women
pretty much
working,
every engineer.
Well, lots of engineers,
just want to use WhatsApp.
They just want to use WhatsApp.
Which is fine if you know that and you recognise that. And then, whoever you're passing that client over to, you're communicating.
But it is hard to try and build those relationships if they don't really want to get on the phone and we haven't got an established relationship with them, which is where things like, we tried to do the joint event with the Beers for Engineers and, trying to actually get in front of people and, where they have no option but to talk to us.
But that's perfect. What a great idea that was at you guys, and you did it with a a couple of other companies.
Well, it was JPMA that came up with the idea and then asked us if we wanted to be involved. I coined the name, and then that was it. And then we had some sponsors.
And 2 years you've done it.
2 years.
Huge success, 2 years.
Yeah, it's been pretty good,
really
actually.
successful years.
Yeah. And that's nice because it just gets us in front of people that we might not otherwise be able to get in front of, and just have those casual conversations, have a little drink. And
well, like you say, it's recognizing a way to build that relationship without hammering them on the phone.
Exactly.
That's not what they want.
No.
And also, I do feel when I saw you doing it last year, I thought how great, because there's so many events for captains, so many events for that actually engineers,
and they love it. They're like, wow, an event for us. This is so nice.
They were really open as well. Some were saying, "This is my career so far. What should I do next?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
how amazing!
You've only known me for 10 minutes, but they're already, because they know who we are, what we've done. They go, what should I do next? Should I do this ticket? Should I do that?
Yeah.
It's real privilege.
Yeah, it is. It's lovely.
So Beers for Engineers, you need to roll it out at more events.
Oh, we have talked about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have talked about doing that. And Palmer, I think, is on the possible agenda for next
year.
year. But yeah, I think it's just a mix of, I say, getting in front of people where you can, and getting on the phone where we can, and just spending time to build those relationships, and also not letting them lapse.
Yeah.
So again, everyone's busy, but we're actively trying to make sure that we're getting back in touch with, just to say, how's your season? Or happy Christmas, or happy Easter, or whatever it is.
You never know what's coming their way.
Never know.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Sometimes you're lucky and I've just joined the new build.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Where are you?
You didn't mention it.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's so
all
true.
relationship based, and look at my WhatsApp, so I know I can feel it over there. It's vibrating away. There'll be 20, 30 messages from today.
Yeah, definitely. No, this whole industry is built on building relationships.
It is.
The more years that we're doing what we're doing, the more that becomes apparent. Definitely. Okay, so what is the most surprising thing you found since being business owners? And are there any lessons you've learned that you wish you'd known before starting? Again, let me get the notebook out.
There's lots of lessons, I think. Every day, new lessons.
Okay, so if I would say to you 2 lessons that you would pass on to someone who,
I think what I said about outsourcing before and not trying to do everything as a business owner, I think is like key, and you can't help it. Like you said earlier, when you start out, you don't have the resources and you don't have the funds to be able to do that, but you really do have to step back and look at your own skills and think, play to your strengths, and actually
your self-awareness that both of you had right at the start, I think is something so key that so many people don't have.
It's knowing what you can't do, and then working on those things as well as what you can do.
So I think that's probably one of my big takeaways from
Ours has been probably technology. We've had website after website, relaunches to keep up with technology. We've changed our database CRM systems a few times.
And not being afraid to do that, to take a leap, and because you get so used to what you know, and then actually changing like the CRM was like, oh my God, it was such a headache, wasn't it?
I was desperate to keep hold of our really old CRM.
It was like teletext, honestly.
But I was an absolute expert on it. I could navigate it, and everyone was like, what is this rubbish?
Yeah.
Then we got in one that was basically looks like you're using your iPad.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And really clever things that it does. You can match candidates and match jobs.
Amazing.
And you go, we should have done this years ago, but we weren't brave enough.
No, sure. And I do think that it's fine in hindsight to look back and be like, oh, we should have done this years ago. But also there's got to be the right time financially, and also to make a leap, because that type of leap you've taken is not one you want to take again in 3 years.
And there was hours and days into research.
So
it's having the ability to have the team run the office to us to work on what's next.
So that means you've got to have the right team in place.
Well, the classic work on the business and not in it. We are still in it, and we are still doing day-to-day stuff because we actually enjoy it as well. So
I think it's impossible to remove yourself completely.
I don't understand.
Just when I think,
and there's times I don't want to as well.
I know. It's enjoyable, isn't it? You loved it. Recruiting for captains still, don't you? I like it when if someone's off and I jump in and still have like placing that green stew. It's nice to be able to still,
because sometimes you do get a bit far away from the bit that you loved at the start. Actually, you can spend, especially like if we're going through a period of recruiting, I find that all I'm doing is reading CVs and interviewing, which I love to do because I really want the right person. But then I sit back down in front of my inbox and think, wow, I haven't done any of the other stuff I should be doing. So
it's hard. It's always hard trying to juggle, isn't it, as a business owner. But I think also we were saying earlier about being brave, and I think that's probably a big lesson. And there's sometimes where it's paid off, and there's sometimes where it hasn't.
Who's the braver out the two?
Oh, Good question. You probably are, I'd
Because
say.
out of Dave and I,
I'm a bit
he's
more
Mr.
cautious.
Risky, and I'm like, whoa, let's just sit down, let's write that all out. Let's just.
Yeah.
Definitely on the same page with like spending.
Oh, okay,
Which
that's
is-
good.
which is-
Yeah,
which
yeah.
Dave and I are the exact opposite.
We're quite-
we would literally be living in a cardboard box at the side
Yeah.
of the road if I let Dave have the credit card.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking at flights. I'm going to Port Lauderdale boat show, and I was like, oh, I don't mind a 5-hour lay-in to save
And I was
300
like,
quid.
okay, no, this is silly. Like,
Yeah.
come
Yeah,
on,
you
we
want
do have
to
to
arrive
spend
feeling
some money.
fresh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there's things like that. But being brave, it's a tricky one because there's a few things like, let's do that. But then we've both got our hindsights and reservations. But I think where we are such a team, we'll both take on the responsibility for it.
Yeah.
So
And as long as you come to the same sort of idea
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, that's
you know,
yes,
the
that's it.
main thing.
I think Liam probably gets very annoyed with my daily. I've had an idea, so I think Liam has to be the one reining in my ideas sometimes. And
really
being
yeah, I've had an idea. Or I've been away
I can
for a
see his
couple of days.
face. Oh, not again.
Monday morning, I was away for the last 3 days. Desperate to get into my emails. Monday morning, Nicola's like on full transmit of ideas and this and
Wait
this.
for him to come in quick.
Yeah.
And we do sit kind of separate from the rest of the team, but we've got a desk up at each other. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop what I'm doing, give you my full attention. Because otherwise I'm like, did we have that conversation? Nick's like, yes, we did on this day at this time.
Oh my God, it sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
tell me that? Yeah, and it's in your calendar as well. And
Yeah.
a post-it note on your desk, just
Yeah.
in case.
There was a post-it note when I came in on Monday
It
morning.
was, yeah.
Okay, well, that leads me nicely on to the next question. How do you find working together as a team, and how do you differ in your management and leadership styles?
Yeah, we are quite different, but I think
Yeah.
that's why it works really well. We've always been, it's funny, I think we've always been quite different, but I think we were more extremely different. And now we've kind of like, we're more in the middle, I would
know
say.
as you've gone along, you become more sympathetic to the other person's
Yeah,
role.
definitely.
Yeah.
All of the
Definitely.
challenging things that happen. The nice thing is when you're a duo is that when you've had a really good day, wow,
Yeah.
so nice to celebrate together and with a team. And then when things aren't so good, you have each other to sort of say, okay, let's reflect and feel
It's
sorry for
100%
ourselves for a
100%
minute.
that way, yeah.
Got each
Definitely.
other to do that
Yeah.
with.
There's a few times where we tell the team, if you talk to one of us, it's the same as talking to both of us.
Yeah, sure.
So
That's
try to keep
important.
try to keep a real consistency. So we'll message and text if one of us is on holiday, one of us is on leave. Everything's consistent for the team.
Yeah.
You know, some of the team come to me for certain things, whether it be client, and then some of them will come to you about some personal bits and pieces. But then if Nicola's not there, they go, I don't want to talk to you, but I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll tell Nicola as soon as I can.
Sure.
One of those things.
Yeah. You did
They,
again.
they know that you guys are completely synced,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that is, they're going to get the same answer.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's been quite nice. I think over time, you're definitely right. We've definitely become more sympathetic to each other and how the one might view something. And again, it's a good thing about having two people is you might be on polar opposites, but you sort of meet in the middle somewhere, and that's often the best outcome for whatever the situation is anyway.
And it seems naturally over the years that you guys have just found your roles as the company's
yeah.
grown and there's a new responsibility. Who does it sit better with? Oh, that sits better with Nick.
Yeah, we don't often have a conversation.
No,
it just
sure.
sort of just happens.
Yeah.
A few
That's the
times.
nice things.
I'll do that. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Mm.
Okay, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received in business or personal life that's been helpful in you growing the business?
Ooh. Mine's got a swear word.
You can swear if you want.
So
It's
Terry's
not for the kids.
Terry Walton told me just don't be a dick.
That, do you know what? I say that.
Can we edit that out?
Oh, yeah.
No,
It's actually going to be the teaser to this
yeah.
episode.
It's important in life, you know.
In life in general, though.
Yeah. You can you forget what people could do having in the background or where they're at. So he's just said, you know, you can be liked to be a manager, but you don't have to be a dick.
No,
So
shit.
it's works quite well.
Such a
and
good piece of advice.
you know, we're now in a position with the business where some of the industry leaders are using us as agony aunts and aunties.
Yeah.
And it's
well,
really
we often have a little catch up.
Tat-a-tat.
Don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, God, let me tell you everything that's happened.
And it's those other things. You said we're known to be the nice people in the industry.
Yeah, definitely.
It's off the base of that title. And people come to you for that.
Yeah, sure. What about you, Nicola?
I don't know. It's such a tricky to pick out one thing. I think there's lots of things, and it depends. Like you say, personally, very cliched. My dad has told me so many things. He's from like a finance type background, but he's always sort of. I think it's funny as he's gotten older, he's much less stressed. So now he's just like, just don't worry. Just
Yeah.
don't worry. Like,
Yeah.
so whenever, like, I will always go to him if I've got, you know, sort of business worries and things. And he always helps me put into perspective. And like,
Oh, that's
however,
really nice.
it is really nice.
Yeah.
It is really nice. Because I think sometimes, again, as a business owner, it can keep you up at night. You know, you can have a
100%.
lot of worries. And
And with COVID was the biggest example. There was
well, that's
there was
it.
help from the government in the end, but
yeah.
basically we send people around the world
Yeah.
and there's no flights
Yeah.
and there's no boats moving.
Yeah.
So you've then got
And they
10
said it would last a few weeks, and we got to 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
We were looking at each other thinking, yeah, okay, we can probably last another couple of months.
Yeah.
What happens after
After
that?
that,
Yeah.
it was terrifying. I
Yeah.
can remember, like, at that point we didn't have any work from home, and actually a couple of the people in the office didn't want to be at home. They were living at home, and actually were quite upset when we said that they had to go home, weren't they? And I said to them, "Don't worry, we'll be back in a couple of weeks."
Yeah. Oh, God. I remember someone who worked for us phoning me up to ask what was going to happen. And I said, Boris Johnson doesn't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
No
I
one
don't know
did.
what you want
Like-
me to say. I
No.
want to help you, but I'm
Yeah.
also, you know,
don't
it
know.
was
But
a
your
really-
employees looking for you to be a leader.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you
Yeah.
go, okay, we're going to do whatever we can. And
Yeah.
we said, you know, we've got 6 months of money in the bank.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah.
You know, we'll keep you jobs we can.
I think it's been that calm, even though in the background we were like, "Oh,
We were panicking.
it's like absolute panic."
Yeah, us too.
But on the surface, to everybody else, you have to be that
Definitely.
calm
Yeah.
influence. don't
Going
you?
back to what you were saying, it's really nice though that you have someone to bounce ideas off. And I do think as I've got older that I'm much better at that now. I do remember there'd be times I'd go to bed and be like, oh my God, I've got 25 people's mortgages on my mind and, you know, things like that. Whereas now I just think, you know what, I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
And that's all I can do.
Yeah.
We've put people on planes before with a bag full of charts. You know, we've got some random chart supplier in a random country to, you know, get us. We've done everything we can, but just sometimes
You can't,
Yeah,
can't do it all the time.
Exactly. So, okay. So, what is next for Wilsonhalligan? Or will you have to shoot me if you tell me?
Oh yeah, so we won't give away any of our secrets, but generally it's just to keep growing on the trajectory that we are. We've got good obviously foothold within yachting, but there's always more. We always feel like there's more, and I think again as a business, it's you have to be always striving to do a bit better and a bit more, and you know there's always builds. There's so much going on.
It's
so
very sort of busy, isn't it? Looking
very
at what's
busy.
coming out of the
Yeah.
yachts,
Very,
isn't it?
very, very
It's
busy.
an interesting subject that I've seen loads on LinkedIn recently about all these boats coming out.
Yeah.
And what about the crew for
I
them?
know. I do get a little bit frustrated sometimes that everyone thinks we haven't got any crew for. Actually, we
Sure.
do.
We do.
We do.
We don't have the right crew.
No, but sometimes it's also maybe it is the industry, but sometimes we can be quite fixated on the type of people that we want on board. And actually, there is a lot of seafarers out there, and we have to be the ones when we're putting people forward to try and actually push it a little bit, like push the boundaries.
And
Actually,
have diversity.
exactly, and bring in some other people to the industry, because that is how we're going to get crew on all these boats.
Yeah.
We've got there's a lot of seafarers, as I say, but and
We've attracted people from really high-end cruise ships, which are very similar to yachting these days, from the housekeeping side. High-end hotels, we've got crew members from Four Seasons hotels.
yeah,
But for some reason, the yacht go, they've never been on a yacht before.
yeah.
Well, if you give them a chance, they would have been.
It's trying to make
If they get it, then they're going to get it. And
That's
they've worked in Four Seasons. They've been dealing with your owner, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
In a hotel.
Yeah.
And they're going to get what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, so I think it's trying to push the boundaries a little bit and help people see actually we have got crew out there. But
And I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but what I see in the industry is the old days, 20 years ago, of we only want a decky that looks like this and sounds like this, and we only want a chief stewardess who looks like this and sounds like that, are gone, because you can't.
still an element of
Is
it.
there?
Oh yeah.
Things have changed
Still
quite a
a
bit.
bit,
Beards were a no-no.
Yeah, that's true.
Most,
I'd be
Tattoos.
out then, wouldn't I?
yeah. I can't grow one, so that's why I'm on yacht.
Fine.
Tattoos were a no-no.
Yeah.
They're more common these days.
Yeah. Most people say if it's just as long as it's nothing offensive, then it's
sure,
generally
sure,
okay.
sure.
We still do have elements of they have to be a certain way, or they can't have tattoos or whatever. But it is less than what we used to see.
And I wonder if as the generational shift of owners
Yeah.
ages,
Ownership,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
we're now looking at like crypto,
Yeah,
25-year-old
yeah.
owners that are not going to care if someone's covered in tattoos.
That's
they want to
it.
know if they can DJ
Yeah.
or make a cocktail.
Yeah.
or
And
Fly a drone.
kite surf, kiteboard.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah, I do
actually-
think it's definitely, it has already changed, and I think it will continue to change, like you said, because the generation of the owners is shifting as well. So it's interesting. It's it's interesting times, I think.
So you've got an exciting sort of year ahead then.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's going that way for sure.
Yeah.
We're definitely on trajectory to have a better year than last year.
Yeah,
Great.
Again, the team's really stable. We've got vacancies coming up
yeah,
that we want to fill internally with us. So it's going in the right direction.
yeah.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. That was fascinating.
You're
I'm probably going to think about 10 other questions after this that
Right.
we'll have to do a part 2.
We'll add them into their comments on LinkedIn to get more views.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Pleasure, thank you.
you.